Buenos and Hafa Day. The Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation, Labor Procurement, Statistics, Research, and Planning is calling this public hearing to order. The time is now 9:10 a.m. on Tuesday, November 29, 2022. In compliance with open government law, notices of today's public hearing were provided via email to senators, stakeholders, and the local media on November 18th, 2022 for the 5-day notice and November 27th for the 48-hour notice. I'd like to acknowledge my colleague, Senator Tello Taitigui, who's here today. Thank you, Senator. The purpose of today's public hearing is to receive testimony on the following items. The executive reappointment of Candy C. Okuhama to serve as a member of the Alcohol Beverage Control Board, followed by Bill number 362-36 COR, sponsored by Senator Sabina Flores Perez, is an act to add a new section 6225.2 of Article 2, Chapter 6, Title 4 Guam Code Annotated, relative to the administration of hazardous pay for the Guam Department of Revenue and Taxation, Tax Collection Branch, and Tax Examination Branch, followed by 1:30 p.m. So we'll recess until 1:30 p.m. following this morning's hearing to hear testimony on Bill number 361-36 COR, sponsored by Senator Sabina Flores Perez. It's an act to add a new Article 8 to Chapter 1, Title 22, Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations, relative to adopting new source review rule requirements, or NSRR, for new and modified major sources in sulfur dioxide non-attainment areas transmitted by the Guam Environmental Protection Agency, followed by Bill number 360-36 COR, sponsored by Senator Sabina Flores Perez, is an act to add new sections 51111A8 and A9 to Article 1, Chapter 51, Division 2, Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, relative to protecting our air, water, land, and the health of our people from toxic exposure due to open burning and open detonation of hazardous waste, and prohibiting the importation and transshipment of hazardous waste into Guam. The rules of conduct for this public hearing are as follows. Individuals testifying shall first be recognized by the chair before speaking and must state their name, organization, and position if relevant for record-keeping purposes. Senators will be given an opportunity to ask each panel member questions, or the nominee in this case. Questions and testimony shall be confined to the substance and nature of the agenda. Personal inference as to character or motive of senator or any individual testifying is not permitted. And now to begin our agenda, to hear testimony on executive reappointment of Ms. Candy C. Okuhama to serve as a member of the Alcohol Beverage Control Board. To provide an overview of the Alcoholic Beverage and Control Board, it consists of 5 members who are appointed by the governor with the advice and consent of the Guam legislature. The ABC Board has the power to license the importation, manufacture, sale of alcoholic beverages, and to suspend, revoke, or reinstate such licenses. Every member of the ABC Board and every compliance inspector has the power to enforce the laws on alcoholic beverages. Additionally, the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board has the power to promulgate rules and regulations consistent with Chapter 3, Title 11 GCA. Members of the board shall serve a term of 2 years. Okay, we did receive testimony in support of the nominee from David John, Christine Boletto, Conchita Bathan, Dr. Marianne Cook-Hun, Sophia Chu, and we will continue to receive testimonies after this public hearing. For now, we would like to invite the nominee herself to provide testimony. Good morning and welcome to you, Ms. Okuhama.
Good morning. Buenos and Hafa Day, Honorable Senator Perez and Honorable Senator Taitigui. Thank you for this opportunity to express my continued commitment to serve as a member of the Board of Directors of the ABC Alcoholic Beverage Board. I'm Candy Okuhama, President of ASE Trust. We are a community retirement planning services on island for the last 33 years. We help people save for retirement one paycheck at a time. It is also my passion to serve my civic duty to the community and also to help businesses at large. Since my initial appointment in March 2017, my understanding and application of ABC policies have allowed me to apply best practices in our review process and duties. While it's been a rewarding experience, I remain committed to serving with fairness and integrity that this position requires. I would like to thank the committee for their time and ask for your favorable support of my reappointment to the ABC Board. It is my distinct honor and privilege to continue to serve the people of Guam in this capacity. Thank you. Sizuz Masi.
All right, thank you, Ms. Okuhama. So you've been on the board for how many appointments? So that's been
Two
two terms?
terms.
2 terms, okay. And so you've gained some institutional knowledge, I think, as sitting on this board. So we really appreciate your continued service to the ABC board. I know it's one of the most active boards, meeting twice a month, I think, for the most part.
We
And-
now, because of COVID, we have actually, because some shorter staff at times, so we are meeting once a month now.
Once a month. And is that enough to meet the needs of the businesses as far as licensing?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
And then, so as far as, your service to the board, what are some of the things that you see that are in need of improvement, especially since the board is also in charge of rules and regulations? Are there areas that the board is eyeing to improve or sees there's a need to improve as far as regulations are concerned?
Well, for the past 3 years, our island business has suffered from COVID, so we actually saw a decline of applications. And now, renewal just finished in June. We actually saw an influx of applications, which shows a good sign of the economy coming back. And we see that there are more businesses who wants to thrive in entrepreneurship. So we are definitely here to help our businesses with the license processing, guided by the policy, and to help them get through in a win-win result for the government and also the businesses.
Okay, so yeah, I see that you are dedicated to ensuring that you meet the needs of the businesses. But as far as the laws that are already in place, I know there's been mention that laws need to be changed, but as far as the regulations implementing those laws, do you see a need to strengthen any of those?
At the moment, we do, when the board gets together with, we have discussed some of the laws, which we will follow the procedure with the guidance of our compliance team, which is very helpful. We do have a process that any law that needs improvement or new laws that needs to be introduced, we go through the proper channel, such as the Attorney General, and then also, of course, amongst the senators to introduce the bill to get it approved.
Okay, all right, thank you. Has there been any, have you been able to, are you involved in the enforcement of the laws? Have you, as a board, or do you rely on the compliance branch for enforcement?
We actually are guided by the compliance branch. We, from the start of the process of receiving the application, they have to be vetted by the compliance branch first, and we're given that information at the meeting. And then as a group, collectively, we decide based on facts and all the documentation that are submitted from approval of different agencies before we make a sound decision.
Okay, so you're focused on more of the application process?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and do you see, what do you see as your contribution, in addition to supporting businesses' needs in applications? What do you see as one of your initiatives in the coming term?
Well, I have kids, and then, also have nieces and nephews. I'm in support of legal drinking age, and actually to be part of this board, to be able to make a decision through the board's policy and follow the proper guidance. This is one of I'm very passionate about making sure that the businesses, the applicants, and of course the community follow the alcoholic drinking age and the policies that are guided by the ABC rules.
Okay. And how has your attendance been? I know there's Zoom. You still allow Zoom meetings, or is it all in person?
We do, but for the most part, we still allow Zoom meetings for the most part. There will always be a board member at ABC present, because we'll have to sign off on the licenses and then review the application. So there's always one of us.
Okay.
Actually, I go quite often.
In person?
In person,
Okay.
because it's close. I live close by, so it's perfect. I can go home after.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And so, yeah, have you ever not met quorum?
There was one time we could not meet quorum because 2 of our board members were away and they were on the East Coast time zone. So it would be really difficult to be up at 3 a.m. So we were able to postpone it to the week after. We saw an urgency for some events that needed to be approved, so we were able to meet after when the board members came back.
Okay. And do you have any conflicts of interest serving on this board?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for answering those questions, and thank you for your continued service.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'd like to recognize my colleague, Senator Taitigui, if she has any questions for the nominee.
Not that much. The chairman was very thorough in asking some of the questions I had, but I did want to go back to the quorum part. How many are sitting on the board currently?
So right now we have Carlo, Lisa Fisher, John E. Lau, myself, and we have one member that just left because he relocated. So there's 4 of us.
So there's
So
only
we're
4.
actively, I guess,
4.
look for one more member, seeking for one more member.
Do you know, you heard through the grapevine, have they found somebody?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so quorum would mean, you would have to have 3 people there.
Correct.
Right, for quorum.
Correct.
Yeah, I did notice a January meeting when there was only, there were 2 people missing. And, you pretty much, in 2019, 2020, and 21, you were pretty much there.
Yes.
In 2022, I think you missed 2 meetings.
I did, because
Yeah.
I was traveling for business.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would never miss a meeting.
Yeah, it was in October and March, so, but I looked at your other records, and you've pretty much been there, 95% of the time,
Yes.
so I appreciate that. I mean, definitely you're serving Guam in the best way in attendance-wise, so thank you for that. And yet this board is a very important board. This is driving our economy. Small businesses come before you, and time is of the essence for them. You've been in business for many years, that time is money. So I just, you mentioned earlier to the chairperson that you went from 2 meetings a month down to 1 meeting because of COVID. However, in 2020, when COVID hit, you guys were still able to do 2 meetings. In 2022, you guys also did 2 meetings. And this is now we're after COVID, and I don't even know why we're still in an emergency state, because, everyone is being normal. We're just dealing with a flu right now. I just didn't see why 2022 would revert to 1 time a month when, we're trying to build, like you mentioned earlier, our economy. And many people are realizing that they would rather go into business themselves, to sustain themselves, which is a good thing. when are you guys planning on going back to 2 times a month? Because I did talk to a couple people who tried to get businesses, and in fact, there's a company who does this kind of work to get businesses through everything from the Guam Land Use Commission to the ABC board and all the inspections, etc. And they're having difficulty trying to get into the ABC board to get approved since it's turned into only 1 time a month. So is there any chance you guys are going to go back to 2?
We actually had a discussion, prior discussions, and again, we're here to serve the people, and we're here to keep our economy flourishing. So definitely, I would bring this up on our next board meeting, and it will definitely, like you mentioned, and we have also discussed it amongst ourselves. The two meeting is definitely very acceptable for the board members, and we will discuss with the compliance team to make sure that they have enough staff to guide us through them. So definitely we can request it with the compliance department.
Well, one Zoom has helped a lot of opportunities for board members to make their dates, to come forward. It's so much easier. You find more people on Zoom than you do in person.
Yes,
Hence
definitely.
today, right? If it
Yes.
was on Zoom, I'm pretty sure you would have had quite a bit of people here testifying in your favor, but so the convenience of Zoom provides that extra ability to have this twice a month. And so please look into that, Candy. 'Cause,
Definitely.
we're past COVID now, we're moving forward. It's going to already linger, but these businesses need to get through the process. And so I appreciate that.
I agree, and we will definitely look into this.
Also, I recommend that you push hard to get the governor to appoint another member, because then it puts you in a predicament with only 4 trying to reach quorum in case somebody is absent. It makes it harder. So I know you got some connections there, so try and push somebody to.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely on our agenda as well to have another.
Yeah.
board
Well, I
member.
tell you what, this board is, is really a very important board to our economy, and it takes a lot of time out of your personal schedule. I do realize that, and I appreciate you stepping up to the plate and doing, like you said, your civic duty. I think your heart on Guam is massive here to make sure that Guam flourishes, and by serving in this particular board, because they meet twice a year, which I'm hoping you guys revert back to, says a lot about you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
And I greatly appreciate that.
Thank
Very
you.
much so. So other than that, Madam Chair, Candy has my support. I've known her for many years on a personal level. She's a go-getter, and I'm glad that she wants to serve another term. So thank you so much,
Thank
Candy.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, extend my thanks to you, Candy, for considering and accepting the nomination, and we look forward to your confirmation.
Thank you very much. Thanks again for your time and your support and consideration.
Okay, so Ms. Masi.
Si Zeus Masi.
So, if there are no further testimonies on the executive reappointment of Candy Okuhama to serve as a member, we will consider this confirmation hearing duly heard. We will continue to receive testimony until 4 p.m. Thursday, December 1st, 2022. Please address all testimony to Senator Sabina Flores Perez, Chairperson of the Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation, Labor Procurement, Statistics, Research, and Planning. It can be dropped off at the mailboxes here at Guam Congress Building or emailed to office@senatorperez.org. The committee will be in recess till those that come to testify in the following item, which is Bill 362, arrive. So thank you. Thank you, Ms. Okuhama.
Thank you.